Wonderful Life message for today is a tribute to Catherine Ponder, a tribute to Catherine Ponder. Now, Catherine Ponder wrote many, many books, and she demonstrated in her own life the spiritual principles that she taught. And she was a unity teacher. She was based here in Palm Springs for many years. She was one of the great teachers of the unity movement and one of the great teachers of spiritual principles. So we have a lot that we can learn from Catherine Ponder. Doesn't mean that we're going to agree with everything that she says, but we may find that something that brings us in a closer agreement with our good if we pay attention and we listen to these words. So this is from Catherine Ponder Speaks. She writes, an incredible formula for vast improvement in all areas of your life is to picture health. And to picture health is one of the most scientific ways of producing it in the body. To picture health is one of the quickest roads to healing. How often I have heard people wail, I have prayed and prayed for healing. Still, my health has not improved. Investigation usually reveals that while these people sorely wanted help, they had not opened their minds to receive it because they had not pictured it. Thus, their prayers had seemed in vain. According to the Latin roots, to image means to conceive, to become pregnant with, or to take into one's mind. Just as one cannot give birth to a child until after physical conception has occurred, neither can one give birth to a new health until mental conception has occurred. One must first image or conceive it. The image makes the condition. Without the image, there can be no condition. The French doctor, Émile Coué, proved the healing power of the imagination at the turn of the century. After more conventional methods of treatment had failed, people from all over Europe sought out Dr. Coué for healing. The success of his cures became so widespread that at his height, he treated as many as 100 people a day. His method, he deliberately set up the picture of healing in each patient's mind by first assuring them nobody ought to be sick. Dr. Coué then persisted in making that mental picture firm in the patient's mind by having them daily affirm, every day in every way I am getting better and better. Every day in every way I am getting better and better. This Frenchman taught that the subconscious mind, which controls the body, was most quickly impressed by mental pictures. By changing those mental pictures, one could quickly change the subconscious and consequently the body which houses it. He proved that the imagination is a much stronger force than the will, that when the imagination and will are in conflict, the imagination always triumphs. The imagination always triumphs. Thus, if your imagination is picturing health, it is possible for that health to manifest in your body, regardless of a diagnosis to the contrary or a previous history of ill health. Knowing this, you should deliberately picture yourself as whole and well. The reasoning power of your will may insist that you cannot be healed, but pay it no attention. If you will dare to picture health consistently anyway, then your imagination is free to work for you to produce that health. Whatever the mind pictures and expects, that it will also build and produce for you. For this purpose, you will enjoy declaring often, even though I strongly want greater good in my life, I may not have opened my mind to receive it because I have not pictured it. The image makes the condition. Whatever the mind pictures and expects, that it will build and produce for me. As I get busy picturing the good I want to experience, the happy results astound and delight me. For this purpose, I declare that vast improvement comes quickly in every phase of my life now. Every day, in every way, things are getting better and better and better for me now. So as we think about these words and we think about the truth of what Jesus was teaching and that Isaiah was teaching and that Jeremiah was teaching and all these great teachers were teaching, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, that God responds to us by corresponding to that which we believe to be true for us. So if we use our imagination actively in our life to conceive of those things that we desire to experience, then God through love and law, through the wonderful, mysterious workings of love and law, will correspond to that which we have conditioned our mind to believe is true for us, and we'll take those images and those feelings and those thoughts and those words and draw to us all things necessary for us to live into that greater good, to live in that greater good. So let's go back to Catherine Ponder. And this is her How to Tap Universal Wisdom, which is the wisdom of the divine. So often, greater good has not come into our lives because we have not asked for it. We have not asked to be shown how to claim it. Wisdom expands the mind. When you ask divine wisdom to reveal greater good to you, it does so by first expanding your mind and then your world through the ideas it gives you. It was the talented Walter Russell who said, "I have faith that anything can come to me who trusts to the unlimited help of universal wisdom. I have faith that anything can come to the person who trusts to the unlimited help of universal wisdom, because that universal wisdom is of God." A man who heard about the prospering power of the wisdom concept decided to prove it first in a small way. In conversation with a friend, he said he believed divine wisdom could show him what to do about any problem. The friend challenged him by saying, "There is a spot pile of scrap tin which is about to go to the garbage can. It looks useless to me. Why don't you ask divine wisdom to show you what you can do with it, to show you what you can do with it?" The man accepted the challenge. He accepted the challenge, and presently there came into his mind the picture of a little matchbox. He began to cut and bend the tin, and had soon shaped the matchbox from it. Calling to him a small boy who was passing by, he asked the boy if he would like to sell the matchbox for 25 cents and receive a profit of 10 cents from the sale. The boy was delighted and soon sold the matchbox. He then got busy selling others that the man made. Soon, both man and boy had made a nice profit from that pile of tin which had seemed destined for the garbage can. By asking for divine wisdom, this man expanded his mind to receive an idea which prospers himself and another. Dare to use this unlimited power of universal wisdom in your own life. Now, Catherine Ponder is giving us all these ideas, but it's up to us to take the time each day to sit and be still and to bring images and bring the call within our own soul to the universal wisdom, which is God. God is intelligence. God is power. God is spirit. God is presence. That presence is always available to us. That power is always available to us. That intelligence is always available to us. But what is the power? It's a drawing power. It's a calling power. We must call to ourselves the good that we desire. We must create in our mind an acceptance of ourselves as having the right ideas, as having the right talents and skills and abilities, the wherewithal within us to do whatever it is that we seek to do, to be, or to have. But it's up to us to take the time. We must recognize that there's a wisdom greater than the wisdom in the world. We must recognize that there's an intelligence greater than the intelligence in the world. And we must accept that there's a power that has created everything that we can see, hear, feel, taste, and touch. And much of what is conceived, much of what is created has been through the mind of mankind. But it's up to us to take that into our mind and start getting to that level of conviction that the wisdom that we ask for, the ideas that we ask for, the good that we ask for. Remember, in the Aramaic language of Jesus, ask means to claim it. Say, I have the right idea. I have the right idea. I have the right amount of money. I have the right this, the right that. I have all that I need today to live this day with a feeling of joy and satisfaction. I have all that I need today to live this day in an attitude of joy and satisfaction. Bring that into your mind. Coach yourself. Condition your mind to believe in the good, to believe that there is a power, a presence, an intelligence, a spirit that we call God that corresponds to that which you believe to be true for you. So let's go back to Catherine Ponder. She says, the easy way to unfold your good. She said, I know a man who was suffering the agony of an unhappy marriage and divorce problems, indebtedness, confusion, and a limited income, but who went from that to a brand new job, filled with self-expression that doubles his previous income, a happy new marriage, peace of mind, increased health, and a whole new lease on life after he began affirming the divine plan at an apparently hopeless period in his life. An apparently hopeless period in his life. This transformation came within just 6 months. Some of the prayer statements he used daily, which helped him bring about these results, were these. He said, I now release everything and everybody that are no longer a part of the divine plan of my life. Everything and everybody that are no longer a part of the divine plan of my life now release me. And he said, I now let go and let God unfold the divine plan of my life. I am now attuned to the divine plan of my life. I now cooperate with the divine plan of my life. Christ in me now manifests the divine plan of my life quickly and in peace. And he also said, I now recognize, accept, and follow this divine plan of my life as it is revealed to me step by step. I rejoice in the divine plan, which is the sublime plan, and which includes health and wealth and happiness and perfect self-expression for me now. So he's put these words into his mind and conditioned his mind. And Catherine Ponder tells us you will enjoy using these same statements or similar statements yourself, because you will see how the good will unfold in your life if you do. But we must be persistent, and we must be willing to take the time to do it. Everything comes to that one thing in our life, which means taking the time to recognize the goodness of God, to recognize the allness of God, and to identify with that good in our mind through the images that go through our mind, through the use of our divine imagination, and through the use of our words and our thoughts, to let all the good that we desire unfold in our life. But it's up to us. We must take the time. Nobody can do it for us, because nobody else can think for us but us. So we must do it. It takes time. It took this man 6 months. But he went from an apparently disastrous life to a life of grace and ease, and a grace of health and wealth and happiness and joy. It's worth it. It's always worth it. So let's go back to Catherine Ponder, the power of written prayer statements. She writes, I recall once sitting in my church study in the early morning hours, planning my work for that day and realizing there were not enough people to help with it. I needed a fast typist to do some special work that suddenly had to be done. I wrote out on a card this decree. Christ now manifests the perfect typist to produce this work quickly. Christ now manifests the perfect typist to produce this work quickly. Within an hour, a lady came not walking but running into the church. Breathlessly, she said, here I am. While having breakfast, I suddenly had the feeling you needed me. What shall I do? Can you type? I asked, trying to sound casual. Can I? Before marrying my husband, I was his secretary, and I am one of the fastest typists in this town. Within a few hours, she had done, as a gift, free of charge, what would have taken the average typist several days to accomplish. In another instance, I had tried for weeks to get a repairman to my apartment to make repairs. He had promised to come, but had not in prayer about it again one night. I found myself decreeing, Christ is here, making the perfect repairs now. Later, I wrote down these words in my book of affirmations. Christ is here, making the perfect repairs now. A greater sense of peace descended over me, and I released the matter. The next morning, quite early, there was a knock at the door, and the repairman quickly did what he had promised to do weeks before. So what is she calling on when she says the Christ? She's calling on that power within us. I can do all things through Christ which strengthens me. That's what we read in the Scriptures. That Christ is the nature of God within us, the nature of God's intelligence, God's power, and God's Spirit. So let's take those ideas into our mind and start thinking about how can I use these ideas in my own personal life. Because to read about this and to hear about this is one thing. And it's all fine and beautiful and wonderful. But we must make the demonstration in our own life. In other words, we must put our faith into works. Faith divorced from works is no faith at all. Jesus said, believe in the works that I do, and that will give you faith. Don't believe in the words, because words can be changed, rearranged, added to, subtracted from. But believe in the works. Believe in the works. Keep your faith on the works. Catherine Ponder tells us a powerful prayer method is not only to declare verbally that the Christ is helping you, but also write it down. The written word of truth seems to carry tremendous power to achieve results that may have earlier been regarded as almost impossible. Someone has wisely said, all things are possible to the Christ consciousness. Yes, especially if you write down your goals and prayer statements, which ask the help of Christ, declare often, then write out, Christ is producing the perfect results in this matter now for the good of all concerned. Christ is producing the perfect results in this matter now for the good of all concerned. To write out and declare these words daily can bring amazing results, So let's think about all that we're learning from Catherine Ponder. And let's think about what she's telling us. She's telling us that we have it within us, the power within us. Because we all have that something within us that can connect to the Spirit, to the intelligence, to the power of God. So let's go back to her words here on imagination. She says, an incredible formula for vast improvement in all areas of your life is to picture health. To picture health is one of the most scientific ways of producing it in the body. To picture health is one of the quickest roads to healing. You know, we all have health. There's a health principle within us. But sometimes we need to have that health perfected in order to feel good. Catherine Ponder tells us, how often I have heard people wail, I have prayed and prayed for healing, still my health has not improved. Investigation usually reveals that while these people sorely wanted help, they had not opened their minds to receive it because they had not pictured it. Thus, their prayers had seemed in vain. According to the Latin roots to the words image, it means to conceive, to become pregnant with, or to take into one's mind. Just as one cannot give birth to a child until after physical conception has occurred, neither can one give birth to a new health until mental conception has occurred. Mental conception has occurred. We must take it into our mind and convince ourselves. We must first image or conceive of it. The image makes the condition. Without the image, there can be no condition. Can we see ourselves healthy? Can we see ourselves happy? The French doctor Emily Coué proved the healing power of the imagination at the turn of the century after more conventional methods of treatment had failed. People from all over Europe sought out Dr. Koo for healing. The success of his cures became so widespread that at his height, he treated as many as 100 people a day. His method, he deliberately set up the picture of healing in each patient's mind by first assuring them, nobody ought to be sick. Nobody ought to be sick. Dr. Koo persisted in making that mental picture firm in the patient's mind by having them affirm daily, every day in every way, I am getting better and better and better. So every day in every way, things are getting better and better and better for me now. Let's start saying that to ourselves every day. Every day in every way, things are getting better and better and better for me now. And so it is. Amen.